Welcome to a critical analysis of the latest developments shaping the future of Eastern Europe. In a move that has sent ripples across the geopolitical landscape, 26 nations have pledged to deploy troops to Ukraine as part of a comprehensive post-war security guarantee. This bold declaration, intended to safeguard Ukraine's sovereignty and deter future aggression, has been met with an immediate and stark rejection from Moscow. Russian President Vladimir Putin has issued a chilling warning. Any foreign military presence on Ukrainian soil would be considered a legitimate target. Tonight, we delve into the intricacies of this high-stakes standoff, exploring the motivations behind the international commitment, the unwavering resolve of the Kremlin, and the profound implications for regional stability and global security. Join us as we unravel the layers of this unfolding drama, examining what these pledges truly mean for Ukraine, for Russia, and for the delicate balance of power in the 21st century. The commitment from 26 nations to deploy troops to Ukraine post-conflict marks a significant shift in international security paradigms. Led by France and Britain, this coalition of the willing aims to establish a robust and enduring security framework for Ukraine, moving beyond mere financial aid and military equipment. The core idea is to create a reassurance force, a tangible, on-the-ground presence designed to deter any future Russian aggression and ensure the sanctity of Ukraine's borders and sovereignty. This isn't merely a symbolic gesture. It's a strategic declaration that the international community, or at least a significant portion of it, is prepared to underwrite Ukraine's security with military might. But what does this pledge truly entail? While the specifics of troop numbers, deployment locations, and operational mandates remain somewhat opaque, the underlying message is clear. Ukraine will not be left to fend for itself after the guns fall silent. This commitment is a direct response to the perceived failures of previous security assurances, which proved insufficient to prevent the full-scale invasion. The goal is to create a credible deterrent, a tripwire that would make any future Russian incursions prohibitively costly. It's a gamble, certainly, but one born out of a desperate need to establish lasting peace in a region scarred by conflict. However, the devil, as always, is in the details. The term post-war is crucial here. These troops are not intended to engage in active combat against Russian forces during the current conflict. Their role is envisioned for a future where a ceasefire, or even a peace agreement, is in place. This distinction is vital for understanding the immediate implications and the potential for escalation. The coalition's intent is to prevent a return to conflict, not to directly participate in the ongoing one. Yet even this future-oriented deployment carries inherent risks, particularly given Moscow's unequivocal stance. In stark contrast to the West's proactive security measures, Moscow's reaction has been swift, unequivocal, and chillingly direct. Russian President Vladimir Putin has declared that any foreign military presence on Ukrainian soil, regardless of its stated purpose or timing, would be considered a legitimate target for Russian forces. This isn't a diplomatic nuance. It's a clear, unambiguous red line drawn in the sand, or perhaps more accurately, on the battlefields of Ukraine. Putin's stance is rooted in a long-held Russian doctrine that views any expansion of Western military influence near its borders as an existential threat. From Moscow's perspective, the deployment of foreign troops, even under the guise of peacekeeping or security guarantees, is a direct provocation, an infringement on its strategic interests, and a continuation of what it perceives as NATO's eastward expansion. This narrative, however, conveniently overlooks Russia's own aggressive actions that precipitated this very crisis. The implications of Putin's warning are profound. It raises the specter of direct confrontation between Russian forces and troops from NATO member states, a scenario that has been carefully avoided throughout the conflict. While the pledged troops are intended for a post-war scenario, the ambiguity of what constitutes post-war and The potential for miscalculation are immense. A single incident, a perceived threat, or an accidental engagement could rapidly escalate into a much broader conflict, drawing in powers that have thus far remained on the sidelines. Furthermore, Putin's declaration serves as a stark reminder of the deep ideological chasm that separates Russia from the Western alliance. While the West frames its actions as defensive and aimed at upholding international law, Russia views them through the lens of historical grievances and perceived encirclement. This fundamental divergence in perspectives makes de-escalation and diplomatic resolution incredibly challenging, pushing the region closer to a dangerous precipice. The clash between the international community's commitment to Ukraine's security and Russia's unyielding red line creates a highly volatile and unpredictable situation. The immediate implication is a significant increase in geopolitical tension. The prospect of direct military engagement, even if unintended, looms larger than ever. This standoff is not merely a diplomatic spat. It's a dangerous game of chicken with potentially catastrophic consequences. One potential scenario is a prolonged stalemate, where both sides maintain their positions, leading to a frozen conflict with an ever-present threat of escalation. In this scenario, Ukraine's recovery and integration into European structures would be severely hampered, and the region would remain a flashpoint for years to come. The economic repercussions, particularly for Europe, could be substantial, as energy markets and trade routes remain disrupted. Another, more alarming scenario involves miscalculation or accidental engagement, with foreign troops potentially operating in close proximity to Russian forces. The risk of an unintended confrontation is high. A single stray missile, a misinterpreted maneuver, or a localized skirmish could rapidly spiral out of control, triggering a wider conflict that no one desires. The international community would then face the agonizing choice of either backing down from its commitments or engaging in a direct military confrontation with a nuclear-armed power. Furthermore, this situation highlights the fragility of international law and the existing security architecture. If powerful nations can unilaterally redraw borders and threaten military action against those who seek to uphold sovereignty, the very foundations of global order are undermined. This could embolden other revisionist powers and lead to a more chaotic and dangerous world. From a satirical perspective, one might observe the tragicomic irony of the situation. The very act of promising peace and security through military presence inadvertently ratchets up the risk of war. It's a geopolitical catch-22, where the solution to one problem seems to exacerbate another. The world watches, holding its breath, as these two immovable forces collide, hoping that reason, however scarce, will ultimately prevail. The current geopolitical landscape surrounding Ukraine is a testament to the enduring complexities of international relations and the high stakes involved in maintaining global peace. The pledge by 26 nations to provide post-war security guarantees, while a powerful statement of solidarity and commitment, has inadvertently created a direct confrontation with Russia's perceived security interests. Putin's unwavering stance, declaring any foreign troops in Ukraine as legitimate targets, underscores the perilous path ahead. Moving forward, the international community faces a monumental challenge: how to uphold Ukraine's sovereignty and ensure its long-term security without triggering a wider, more devastating conflict. Diplomacy, though currently strained, remains the only viable long-term solution. This will require creative thinking, a willingness to engage in difficult conversations, and a recognition of each party's core security concerns. However misguided they may seem, the cost of peace, it appears, is not merely financial or military. It is also the immense intellectual and diplomatic effort required to navigate these treacherous waters. The world watches, hoping that leaders on all sides will prioritize de-escalation and find a way to bridge the chasm of mistrust and conflicting interests. The future of Ukraine, and indeed the stability of the international order, hinges on the ability to find a path forward that avoids the catastrophic consequences of a direct military confrontation. Thank you for joining us for this in-depth look at a story that continues to unfold with profound implications for us all. We will continue to monitor these developments closely and bring you the most accurate and insightful analysis.